to In Conversation With. This week, I am delighted to welcome another Scotsman. And this Scotsman is Kyle Murtagh. Kyle, you're very welcome.
Thank you for having me, Maura. It's great to be here.
It's great to see you too. I'm delighted to see you standing.
Yeah, it's a choice I've made now in every form of presentation, meeting, podcast, whatever it is. I'm standing up from now on. I just think it's the better way to communicate, personally.
Okay, well, I guess you weren't standing when you were born. So tell me a little bit about your early days. You come from Aberdeen. Were you born there?
Yeah. I was born in Aberdeen, and I lived there for all of my childhood, and then I moved to Glasgow for a university to be a psychology student at a local university here.
Okay, so we've skipped a whole load of childhood. I guess we skipped about, 18, 20, 19 years.
Yeah.
Let's fill in a little bit of the childhood years. What were the highlights for you of being, let's say, an early teenager or a late preteen?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of struggled quite a lot, to be honest with you. In school, I wasn't the most bright, and I realized later on reasons for that. But at the time, I just thought I was quite dumb. And of course, your classmates let you know about this as well. I really found English in particular to be quite challenging. So school wasn't the funnest of times for me. I had friends and so forth, but my school was very focused on grades. They wanted you to get the best grades. That was what they were all about. And I didn't really fit with that model to begin with. So it wasn't the best time. And the usual things when you're a teenager, you're confused. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you're trying to be. So I was wrestling with all of that stuff. And when I was in Aberdeen, pretty much. And it's only later when I look back with hindsight that I realized it was actually all good for me, that stuff. It was good for me to struggle and to find that stuff challenging, because it did motivate me to become more in the process. And like I say in my speech about dyslexia, because that's what eventually I was diagnosed with, and that was the reason I was struggling with these things, I learned I just had to do more work. I just had to put in more hours, more energy than other people, and that's something I've certainly taken on with me.
Okay, that's interesting, and I'm glad you brought up the dyslexia bit early on, because that's something that I found quite interesting from the educational point of view, as to how one can actually teach or enable someone who suffers from dyslexia, how you can overcome that in the teaching or learning process.
Yeah, I don't have the silver bullet for that, because obviously everybody is different. And I think people who have dyslexia, we have a different structured brain than other people who can take on board numbers or letters a lot easier. It's just about creating more time, I believe. Something which helped me tremendously in my examinations was having extra time, for example. Little things like that do make a difference. And it did make a difference for me with my grades when I started getting some of the support that I needed to help in these situations. Okay.
Right, so you ended up in university in Strathclyde. Yeah. Is that in Glasgow, the University of Strathclyde?
Yeah. We've got 3 universities here, and that's one of them.
Yeah, okay. And tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, I chose to do a psychology degree because I didn't know what I was going to do. So I thought psychology is broad enough to go in any direction. So I'll go with that and maybe even become a psychologist in the process. And after 4 years, Moira, I realized I didn't want to be a psychologist, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So that was going to be after the 4 years. But I had a lot of fun in those 4 years. It really did help me kind of figure out more who I was, what I was looking for, and so forth. So it was certainly time not wasted.
Okay, so here you are. Presumably you got your degree, your bachelor's degree. Yeah. Right, so here you are with a bachelor's degree, and you're saying to yourself, what am I going to do with life?
Yeah, well, a wee bit before that, to be honest, it had always been a question. Even when I was in school, I was asking myself that. And I really started to pursue options about a year before graduating, because, you know, you're meant to get a job, you're meant to go on to do something, and I had nothing at that point. And that's when I started trying a bunch of different things. I was a fundraiser for WWF, you know, the wildlife charity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was selling like cuddly toy pandas and koalas on the street. I worked as a lifeguard for a little bit in a very odd swimming pool. It was actually a nudist swimming pool. I think I've spoken to you about that before at your club in a speech. But eventually, along those things, I found a speakers club like Toastmasters, and I went along there. And my first experience of speaking was a table topic. And my question was, Kyle, if a zombie apocalypse happened in Glasgow, where would you go? And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck is this place, you know, with all these people? But anyway, I get up there and I say 2 words, Moira.
Yeah.
The pub. And then I sit back down.
Well, yeah, that's good. I think my first table topic, I ended up saying, well, yes, that's as far as I got in my first table topic. Okay, so
yeah, that's where it started for me with the public speaking.
Yeah.
And when I sat back down, you know, it sounds funny and everything, but you know yourself, when you feel the fear coursing through your veins, it's not funny at all. So I realized I had a choice to make. You know, I either go back from this, retreat from this, hide from it for the rest of my life, or go towards it. And I'm so glad I chose to step towards it. And yeah, after just putting myself in the fire multiple times, after months and months of practicing, trying, failing, getting some success and then failing again, I finally started to lose that fear and started to gain more confidence. And at that point, a very kind lady in the audience offered me a little job speaking in front of 300 people. So I took that and it went really well, and it sort of led to more work. And I started competing, had some success there on a division level. And so by the time I'm graduating, I've got a couple of clients, I've got a couple of accolades. I think, why not try this? Why not start a business? And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years now, launching my business, Confidence by Design.
Wow. So, pardon me for asking, how old are you now?
I am 25 now. 25.
Okay, so that's pretty young to be branching out on your own with your own business. How have you found that mentally? Is that what I'm thinking about? How did you come to be able to cope with the organization of being your own boss? Yeah.
I think as a student, you almost are your own boss in a way. I mean, no one's forcing you to study. That's on your terms, you know, and that's why a lot of students struggle, I think, because no one is, you know, putting a gun to their head, or they don't have their parents behind them forcing them to read the books. It has to be on you. Yes. You have to want it. Yes. And I really do want it. You know, so I've always been motivated, even since back in school when I was having all those troubles. I was motivated to go online and search for answers. I still have that same drive within me to succeed. I want to do something with my life. And so I think being in business obviously is the manifestation of that, and adapting to it and being my own boss is just part of it. It comes with the territory. So I've just had to, you know, it's not been something I've had to think about too much. It's just, I know this is what I want to do. I want to get to here. Let's make it happen.
Okay, but running a business is more than just having the self-discipline to organize your life. You have to be the accountant, the bookkeeper, the salesman, the coffee boy, every part of your business. So that's a whole different discipline. And I've been through it myself, so I can talk both on as an advisor, because I had a business of advising people like yourself starting up in business, but also starting my own business. And so I know the stresses and the strains that this can cause. How have you felt? How have you coped with all these different bits that you have to look after with your business?
Of course, of course. I mean, it's been like this, right? It's been up and down, and especially when I first got started 3 years ago, it was a lot of down.
Yeah.
A lot of down, because I was going in, like I told you, I'd already had some success. I already had some clients while I was still a student. I was in this great place. So I launched my business and then nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. You know, people don't want to do stuff. People are not getting back to me. I don't understand why. My expectations are not being met. And you just start to feel like a failure, you know? So you do have those moments where you're like, why am I doing this? Why is it not working out? Should I just get a job? Should I go back to that lifeguarding job with a nudist? You know, these thoughts start to come in your head. Maybe not that last one, but yeah, you get lots of that. There's lots of self-doubt. There's lots of struggles, lots of challenges, and you've just got to try and stay in it. And one big epiphany I had, and it actually came from running a race, running a marathon, the Loch Ness Marathon here in Scotland, is that it's much more effective, instead of focusing on the mountain or your goal, to focus on your next step. Just focus on the little thing that is in front of you, the thing which is going to move you along, get you a little bit closer to that goal. It's much more beneficial for your mental health and your physical health to focus on that and accomplish that instead of being daunted by the big mountain which is lying in front of you. So that's something which has helped me tremendously. And of course, you get support from other people. You do business with other people. You do business with accountants. You do business with people who have skill sets that you don't have. And that's what helps you along.
Yeah, yeah. That's very interesting. I made a video many years ago when I was first in Toastmasters with another Toastmaster whose name escapes me just now. That's old age. Which was explaining how Toastmasters in particular can help you to get to the top of the ladder by literally doing that, taking it one step at a time. And the way that he demonstrated this was by getting one of the members of the audience to stand at the bottom of the ladder and jump to the top of the step ladder. And you can't do it. You can't do it. It's physically impossible. Yeah. But if you climb up it one step at a time, you get to the top.
Yes. Yeah, very smart, very smart.
Yeah, and to me that encapsulated the whole process of learning anything. It doesn't matter whether it's public speaking or mending a lawnmower. You know, you learn to do it by taking it one step at a time.
100%. And that's what it comes down to in life. And to go back to that race, there was a moment in that race where my muscles were spasming. My leg was literally stuck like this straight. I couldn't bend it. And all I had was my next step. You know, that's all I could do. So that's where my focus had to go. And eventually one step turns into 2 miles, 5 miles, and before you know it, you're at the finish line. So I can't agree with you more.
Yeah. So talking about running, what do you do to relax? What do you do to get away from the stresses and strains of running your own business?
I guess I do use exercise in a way. It's maybe not the most relaxing experience during the exercise. I do long distance running and I go to the gym and so forth. But I certainly am relaxed after it. You know, I think once I don't know if you do a lot of exercise yourself, Moira, but once you exert yourself, it kind of disbands all of those, you know, neurotic thoughts that you have going on all the time. It's kind of like, ugh, I've got nothing left. You know, I'm playing, I'm calm. It's sort of like that. So yes, I do exercise in a way to help with that, I guess.
Yeah, I do exercise. I walk. That's my main. I do a little bit of resistance stuff, but it's mainly walking. And yes, I started seriously walking after a minor heart, not scare, but you know, just a little bit of heart problems. And the doc said, well, you know, you get your diet, you lose some weight, you cut out the salt, and you walk. And to start with, I was walking 2-3 kilometers. Then it was 5 kilometers. Then it was 8 kilometers. Then 10. And I think the longest I've walked now was 16 kilometers, which
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it was great. I love it. It's a time of that you can get to yourself. You can get into your mind because there's no distractions except the beautiful countryside, which we are blessed with here in Ireland, and you, of course, in Scotland with your spectacular countryside. I know Glasgow is not that spectacular, but
further up is.
That's true. But yes, it's a great time for reflection and for learning. For listening to podcasts and whatnot. And it also gives you a little bit of a lift. It gives you, I don't know if it's an adrenaline lift or what, but it definitely does affect your mental state.
Oh, 100%. And I think the reason is because we're meant to be exercising. You know, as animals, we are meant to move around. We're meant to get chased. We're meant to chase. We're meant to physically use our bodies to help us survive. Being still, static, it's not what we're meant to do. And I think that's why so many health complications come from being sedentary, you know, from being still.
Yep, I agree. Tell me more about the business and how you've developed yourself in doing the business, because it must be much of a two-way thing.
Yeah, absolutely. One affects the other, no doubt. So the business is called Confidence by Design. To begin with, I had the goal actually of going into schools. You know, I wanted to work with a lot of schools because, you know, when I was in school, like I told you, I didn't have very much confidence. I was struggling a lot. I wanted to go in and do talks around building confidence, around using public speaking as a tool to help with your self-esteem. But I really found it difficult to get any form of traction at all in those first 6 months of business. Schools just simply wouldn't take me on. And the ones that did, I mean, it was great when I was in there, really enjoyed it with the kids, but schools aren't the fastest at getting you paid. I had to wait 6 months to get paid once, and that's not great for cash flow as a new business.
No.
So,
no, indeed.
Yeah. So I pivoted. Well, pivoted is maybe the wrong term, but I changed things up, and I thought, you know what, I need to focus more on B2B, business to business, and it's stayed like that ever since. Now the types of businesses have changed. To begin with, I was thinking, you know, it has to be speakers. Speakers are the ones who want to speak better, but that's changed a lot. Now it's a little bit more like coaches, people in finance industry, and so your target market evolves. Who you serve evolves as you evolve. At the same time, and my services have as well. I used to do in-person workshops, Moira, just maybe 10 people would show up, and 2 people showed up one time. I remember that was a tough day, that one. And they were in these venues, you know, I was rooted in Glasgow. It was only the local populace that I served. Now I do everything online. Now I've got my own sort of group where we meet up every month, and we have people from all over the world come to that, you know, so that's changed as well. Every aspect has changed and evolved, and it's just about learning, and it will still change 2, 3, 5 years down the line still.
Yeah, Zoom has changed an awful lot. The pandemic has changed an awful lot, hasn't it?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And for the better.
Sped things up.
And for the better. I know that my world has completely opened up as a result of Zoom. All right, we're recording this on Zoom now. I'm in Ireland, you're in Glasgow. It doesn't actually matter where you are. Doesn't matter. It can be anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And
this stuff breaks down barriers. It really does. Breaks down borders. It's tremendous. I mean, I know it's not quite the same as in person. We all love the in person.
Yeah.
But it's not that far away, is it?
Yeah.
It's not that far away.
No. I think as a speaker, the big difference is the lack. As I was talking to somebody this morning and saying that what I miss with the in-person speaking is being able to get an audience in your palm of your hands and manipulate the audience, actually physically. And you can't do that online because there just isn't that audience connection.
Yeah, I mean, energy, I think, is what you're talking about there, right? We get no energy.
Yeah, it's more than that. It's the physicality of it. You can stand up behind a podium, behind a lectern, and deliver a speech without ever going anywhere near the audience. But what I like to do is actually to walk up to the audience, to walk into the audience maybe, to get people having to, turn around to be able to see. Because by doing that, you're involving the audience in your conversation, in your speech.
Yes, they're turning heads.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
Where is this going to go? What's the future?
With the business? I want to actually create something which doesn't require me, in a sense. I want to create something that's bigger than me, which is actually helping people find their confidence through their speaking. And of course, Toastmasters does a great job of that. But I think there is other places where it could be done more of it, And for example, in business, there's so many people in business who have not tapped into their voice, their ability to speak, to project their message. And I would love to be, an industry leader, if you will, in the UK, if not further afield. I'd love to go to Canada one day and do this, and which helps people, improve their communication skills so they can project more about their business. Because I truly think if you can start owning public speaking, owning what you got to say, then it's a great form of marketing for you, for building your confidence, but also for getting your message out there. So that's the direction I see things going, making the business bigger than me, having trainers who are part of the business, and really helping as many people possible. Impact, the big audience, that's what I'm looking for, Moira.
Okay, now something we haven't actually mentioned is that you recently won the UK and Ireland Toastmasters International Speech Contest.
Yes.
Now, obviously there was a journey to reach that stage, going through club, area, division, district. You also won a contest last year, didn't you, on evaluations?
Evaluation.
Yeah, so you won evaluations last year, international speech this year. And do you think that you have the skill, let's say, now to be able to take this to the next level and beyond? Or so what are your expectations, let's say? And I know this is a very difficult thing to talk about, and it's very much in the laps of the gods. But do you think the speeches that you have, and for the benefit of the audience, when you get to the upper echelons of the speech contest, you can't just do it with one speech. You have to have it. Pardon me. You have to have at least 2 speeches under your belt, and they've both got to be equally good, because if you don't get through one stage, you can't get to the next stage to deliver the next speech. So how confident are you now on, because you're going to go forward, or your speech is going to go forward to the quarterfinals, which are based on your last performance, because it's a video contest at this stage, and then onto the semis. Do you think do you think you'll get to the semis? Let's put it.
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, the reason I entered this contest, Maura, was to win this contest. World champion of public speaking. That's the goal. That's what I'm going for. I'm not here to take part. I'm here to win. That's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I believe I'll get through. And I've got a semi-final speech. I'm working on that right now, going around lots of clubs. And that's part of my process. I have to go to a lot of different clubs, get lots of feedback, and then make changes to that. And I'm happy to talk about the process if you want to in that with the last speech. So I feel good about it. I've looked at the competition from last year. I feel it gives me more confidence. It's just about improving myself, really. Making sure I can make this as good as it can possibly be. Look at every small weakness and just try to make that a strength. So yeah, it's a process. And like you say, it is in the hands of the gods. You never know people's opinions. Yeah. But yeah, I feel good.
Yeah. Well, you know that most of the world champions, I think Craig Valentine was probably the exception because he won it in his first year of Toastmasters. But most of the winners have been at the semi-finals on more than one occasion before they finally get through to win it.
Yeah.
And also, they all say that they had multiple mentors for their speech with different, all on different aspects of the particular speech. So have you grabbed lots of mentors for yourself?
Yeah, I have my main mentor is my coach, Prez Vasilev, who was the 2013 world champion. He's been helping me, since the very start of the season with the last speech and with the current speech. So I take a lot of wisdom and guidance from him. There's other people in my club. My club is actually a real strong melting pot. We've got a lot of district champions in there. James McGinty, you may know.
I love James, yes.
Yeah, James is a lovely guy. So they're helping me as well, supporting me as much as I can. And I'm just going around lots of clubs and getting feedback. To give you some insight, for the last speech, before that district contest, I'd been around to 30 different clubs and got feedback.
Okay, that's good. So. That's good. Now, out of curiosity, are you keeping the speech you used at district as your final speech? Yes. And using a different one for the semis? Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. And that's why there's a big race right now, because like you said, July sort of time you find out. Yeah. And then I imagine they're not going to do the semi-final live. They're not going to do the final live. So I think probably the end of July, start of August, they'll be doing filming.
Okay. Yeah. It could be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the very best of luck in that. You'll have the whole of the district, I think, behind you, and we'll all be paying Toastmasters to see the semi-finals once you get there.
Appreciate that. Well, I think you get it for free, don't you, now that it's online?
I can't remember. You probably do, actually. Yes, you're right. Last year was free, wasn't it? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we had to pay the previous years. Yes.
It'll be good. It'll be good. And I don't know if District 71's ever had someone get to the semi-finals. Well, they must have the semi-finals, but the final, I don't know.
Yes, we've had, I'm not sure if it was District 71 or the original District 71 before the split between 71 and 91.
Yeah.
And we had a third place finalist. Was he third place or second place? I forget, and I can't remember his name, of course.
There's a guy from 91. He got second in 2017.
Okay, so that was 91. But
Simon Bucknell?
Simon Bucknell, that's him. Yeah, so that was post-split. In 71, Philip Carnpanny got a third place in the early noughties. I'm not sure exactly when. So yes, we have had finalists.
Okay.
And placings, but we've never had a world champion. Not yet.
Yeah.
But maybe 2021 is the year.
That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed, Kyle. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. And I've made a complete mess up of the back end because I just got too busy watching you, to be honest with you.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, so to my listeners, you'll forgive me for having to watch Kyle all the time whilst I was talking. But anyway, that's it. Thank you for coming along and giving us your insights to a bit of your life. And I'll see you. How can I put this? Politely. No, I'll see you online.
Thank you, Maura. Thank you for having me, and I will see you online too.
All the best.